Thanks for joining us on this Friday in August. What do we see here in terms of Pepsi's interest in Celsius?
So Pepsi already has around 8.5% in Celsius, and now it's upping it to 11%. You can obviously think that, energy drink is one of the most lucrative non-alcoholic beverage categories, and it's interesting that Pepsi does not have a great track record in here. So Rockstar, like you said, as part of this transaction, will become part of Celsius, and Celsius will now manage Rockstar, Alani Nu, and then obviously Celsius itself. And it's also a consolidation of the distribution channel. So now Celsius, instead of using like hundreds of different distributors, will be using the PepsiCo distribution. So it's good for both sides. One is getting, like you said, an energy boost. The other one is getting a consolidated distribution channel.
So you take a look at the different market caps here. PepsiCo has a market cap of about $203 billion. Then you take a look at Celsius, it's just below $16 billion. Could we imagine a future where Pepsi just outright buys Celsius? They have an 11% stake now.
That was my biggest question too. So you can argue it both ways. So if you look at Coca-Cola, they have a stake in Monster Beverage that never turned into, so far it has not turned into a full-on takeover. So retaining an economic stake while having the distribution, having the exposure to that category without actually having to manage the whole thing. Energy is quite an entrepreneurial category. You have to constantly come up with new marketing strategy. There are newcomers all the time. So you could argue that it's actually better off for an energy company or energy arm of a company to be its independent entity and have its own flexibility.
It's fun. You're all over every deal that we get, no matter what industry. So in your job, you must learn so much about each of these individual industries when you're doing the deals coverage.
I try, Matt. Yeah.
It's impressive. It's impressive. So, all right, so where else should we look for energy deals? Like, is there a broader consolidation going on here? Is somebody going to make a play for Monster? Is, Red Bull going to look for other targets?
Red Bull is one of the largest private company there is, just period. And it's a huge company. It's co-owned by
Which, by the way, is amazing to me because it tastes so disgusting.
I've never had a Red Bull, so I cannot comment on that. But it's one of the
Katie's never had a Dr. Pepper.
I've never had a Dr. Pepper. I've never had an energy drink either. It's just not. I'm drinking literal coffee right now.
Yeah, caffeine works.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
But Red Bull, it's everywhere. They own huge racetracks. They're sponsoring major sports stars, and all on this drink that people mix with vodka at discos. I don't really get it.
It's owned by Austrians and a Thai family, so it's a private company. For a long time, there was the most interesting IPO that could happen is this. Obviously, energy drink as a category has been extremely popular. There are a lot of research reports saying how people are trading iced coffee for energy drinks. So this is definitely a category to watch for. Also, to watch for is whether alcoholic makers would want to get into it, because there are, like AB InBev, for instance, they distribute Red Bull. So there are definitely overlap that would make that deal make sense.
Yeah.
So when we look at the Monster, when we look at Red Bull or any other company in the energy space, the buyer universe for those are actually quite big.
I do just have to go back to something you said. Discos? You're going to the disco?
Well, or whatever you call, I don't know.
Clubs?
The clubs.
I don't know. I don't go there either.
Right. The Limelight. Is the Limelight still open? Is that still a thing?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
No.
Good. Crystal is also not sure. So let's move on. Let's talk about what the rest of this year is going to look like, because you have seen this revival when it comes to the M&A landscape. Also notable that we're talking about this deal on the final trading day of August. So it hasn't exactly been a sleepy summer for deals. How does that set us up going into the autumn, maybe a little bit more active time?
So this is probably the most nerve-wracking weekend for any deals reporter or M&A watcher. Labor Day weekend, the 3-day weekend, tends to be the most intense M&A weekend. A lot of expectation for what could come on Tuesday. Like you said, this summer has been very active. We've seen deals across the energy sector, the consumer sector. There's been large company like the Kraft Heinz that has announced strategic review. There are a lot that is happening that you wouldn't have expected 8 months ago or last year, just because of the change of administration and how people expect potentially there could be, interest rate coming down. So all of that is creating a very good M&A market. And for us, every banker, all of them very optimistic about the rest of the year. We'll see whether that comes true, but Tuesday morning would be a very good indicator.
So for you, for the deals team, every year, Labor Day weekend is
who gets
Super
the short
intense.
straw? Like, who works this weekend?
Wow.
The bankers and our M&A reporters.
For me and Katie, it's a Four Loco Friday.
Yeah,
you know?
we're going to be at the disco.
The disco, yeah. Or the club.
Mixing vodka and energy drinks.